Season 6 is finally here in Delta Force, and whilst we've all seen the big headline features such as the new operator, warfare map, and seasonal mission changes, there's also a ton of other great updates hidden away in the patch notes, or sometimes not even mentioned at all, that you probably didn't know about. Hey everybody, my name's Ben, and today I'm going to run through 10 of these new features that you might have missed. Let me know in the comments which your favorite new feature is, and also what features you want to see but weren't added yet. As a Delta Force partner, I talk to the devs a lot so I can pass on any feedback that you have directly to them. So one of the things that had been really annoying me last season was that I wasn't able to do certain black site upgrades or buy certain expansion crates like GTI crates because the things I needed to buy for those upgrades weren't available in the auction house. A good example of this would be in your supply station, the Assault Battalion weapon crate there. If you got the GTI crate unlocked here, this weapon crate, you can see you need a medivent and the vacuum cleaner for it. For most of last season, you weren't able to buy those at auction at all. Most of the time, they were just never available. Now they seem to have put a load of these into the market. So if you go to auction and look through these pages, you'll find now that all the stuff that previously wasn't available can now be bought. The flight recorder, you can see that was normally sold out. That's there for 6 mil. The medivent, if you got 17 mil spare, you can buy one of those. The vacuum cleaner you can now buy for around 9 mil. And if we go to Craftwork, you can even buy the Tears of the Ocean, currently going for a cool 85 mil in the auction house. It's a nice little change. I already spent a bunch of my money buying the medivent and the vacuum cleaner. That allowed me to get my level 9 stash upgrade, and then for my next one I need Heart of Africa, Champagne, and the oximeters, and I could buy that if I wanted, but I'm going to hold off because that will completely bankrupt me. Space City hard mode and also Brakesh hard mode have had some new safes and tasks added to them. We won't worry about Brakesh too much because that's not available in global at the moment in hard mode, but on Space City hard mode there's now a new large safe added to the CEO office, so it's right inside the office, at the back, behind the desk, by the window. That's on top of the other safe that's just outside the door that was there already, and obviously the keycard ones if you go into the keycard room up there. There's then also a large safe in the printing room, just sitting in the corner by the main doors that go out to the north. And on top of that, there's also a few other smaller safes dotted around the map that are new, and there's 2 new breach specialist missions that you can do in the buoyancy lab and also in the black chamber. That's the top left of the middle 4 buildings and the bottom right of the middle 4 buildings. Each of these now has a task outside it that is a breach task. There's a door just inside the reception rooms of these 2 areas. You can blow that open, and inside both of those doors there's a large safe, a small safe, and a couple of other containers as well. So if you do manage to clear the map on hard, then there's now a bunch of extra safes that you can go and clear up before you go and extract. The firing range has had some really nice quality of life improvements made to it. It'll now remember settings when you leave and come back. So for instance, if we go to this dummy here, and we put some armor on it, and then we'll grab this next dummy here, bring that forward, stick some armor on that as well. And if we then open up this and we select a different ammo type, let's say select the gold ammo here, you press gear for some reason instead of equip now, and then we back out of this, go back to leave firing range, back into my stash, and then load back into the firing range. We're going to find that it's saved those settings. Previously, it would have just reset that all back to default. So that's a really useful change if you want to go in and out, see the cost of things, come back, still have all these set up exactly how you want them. And you can see in the bottom right, it's actually remembered my ammo selection as well. It's still got that gold ammo selected from last time. On console, they've also fixed it so you can reload mid-mag now. That was a bug previously on the last build. And they've also added a load of new armor you can put onto bots here. So previously, it was quite limited. Now, if we go all the way down the bottom, you'll see that they've added all these different red helmets are now available. Previously, there was only one. We can even put the lucky helmet on this guy. And then also on vests, if we go all the way to the bottom, you're going to find all of the different red vests available. Again, previously, there was just one of those you could choose. Now you can test out all the different armor in the game. Another nice quality of life improvement made for controller players, whether that's on console or PC, is if you go to your settings and go over to controller and then scroll right to the bottom of the page, you're going to find this virtual cursor setting. This is the cursor you can see moving around on the screen now. So I've got mine on 15. If I put this up to 50, you can see it now moves around crazily fast. I can barely control it and get it back on the setting again. And then if you put it really low, you can see it barely moves at all. So a really nice change to adjust that. You can also adjust the dead zone of that. You can see I've got mine set on 8. You can put that on wherever you fancy, but that's going to control that, whether you're looting in-game and using a cursor, whether in your menus, just anytime using that cursor, that's going to affect that. By the way, if you wanted to buy Delta coins for the Season Pass or Operator skins or anything else, make sure you don't buy them in-game because they're actually cheaper to buy when using my official Delta Force partner creator code link via Midas Buy. This is Delta Force's official coin buying website. It's owned by the same company. I'll put the link in the description below, and you can use that if you want to get cheap Delta coins, and it helps support the channel. We also now have some changes to the gear sets in the game. They've all been tweaked. There's still Recruit, Standard, and Elite, but some of those are a little bit different. And there's also this new tier, Spec Ops. This goes even higher than Elite, and these have a value of 780,000. That means you can take them into prison, which has that gear cap of 780k. You're going to acquire these through special events. They're obviously going to be quite hard to do, but keep an eye out for events that reward you with these Spec Ops things, and you may also see them pop up in the season passes. As you can see, they're pretty high tier. We've got an AS Val here that's worth nearly 600k with purple ammo, a gold vest, we've got a good rig, loads more purple ammo in the pocket, and a big bag, full gold armor for this middle one, and then even an M7 here with gold ammo loaded into it, worth 754k. So you can see the actual value it says at the top is always a little bit different because market values can vary quite a lot. So in reality, if you went and bought this gun yourself and all this armor, I think that would be worth quite a lot more than 780k. But this value is of course boosted up a bit by the gold ammo that's currently loaded into that. This one also comes with another 150 rounds of gold ammo in the pocket. So a huge amount of value of ammo in that kit. So they're obviously going to be pretty rare, but at least there is a kit you can now take into Tied Prison hard mode. You could also use that for Space City hard mode. Some of the other values have changed on these tickets. The Elite ones now have a 550k gear value, which would be okay for Brakesh hard if it is available, but for Space City hard, that's now been changed to 600k. So these wouldn't be enough to get into hard mode on Space City now. You'd have to take a Spec Ops one or your own custom loadout. And then we also have the tab now for customization where you can get custom gear tickets. Again, they're going to be special rewards you may acquire at some point. For the time being, we don't have any, but that's another layer to gear tickets that we're going to see coming over this season. If you're playing on the console version, you may have noticed that the audio has now been fixed. This is the footstep audio and the ladder climbing audio particularly. There was a few other ones that were problematic, but those two particularly, there was this horrible clanking sound when you were running around and when you were climbing ladders. That's now been fixed and the game sounds a lot better. Also on console, if you're playing on PS5 or Series X, you may notice you now have a much better frame rate if you're playing with VSync off and prioritize frame rate. I found us getting a pretty stable 120 FPS when running these settings, frame rate with VSync off, though you may find you're getting some screen tearing issues when you do that. I can avoid the screen tearing by putting VSync on. I also run it on quality, so it looks a bit nicer, but that will lock it for me to 60 FPS. When you have VSync on, that's going to lock it to whatever the refresh rate of your monitor and console is set to. So mine's currently set to 60 on my Xbox, so it'd lock it to 60 FPS. But if you had your refresh rate higher on your console and monitor, then you may be able to lock that at 120 with VSync on as well. Entirely up to you what you prefer, but if you turn that off and have frame rate on, then you may now find you can get 120 FPS. Regional server selection is now available for all players in all game modes. You just need to hold down the start button if you're on console or bring up this page on PC. This is where you select between Operations Warfare or Black Hawk Down. And you can see at the top here, we've got the Europe button. It says my ping for my servers. And if I click this little button here, you can see all these different servers we can choose to join. So I could go onto NA, Africa, Southeast Asia, or whatever, and play games on those servers if I wanted. It tells you the ping times there, obviously. And what would be great to see is maybe them adding some way you could see like how many players were currently on these regions or which region had the quickest queues for you so you knew where to go and play, or even it doing that automatically if you had slow queue times. It certainly seems like Europe has the quickest queues at the moment. So if you're struggling with slow queues from Africa or from NA, then maybe try queuing on Europe and you might find your queues getting significantly faster. The entry values have changed for a couple of maps. We touched on this briefly. Space City Hard has now been changed to 600k. The normal mode is still the same, 187,500, and Brakesh Hard has changed from 430k to 550k, but as mentioned, Brakesh Hard isn't available on global at the moment anyway. Last but not least, there is a new Easter egg on Lyali Grove. I've done a video dedicated to this if you want to find out exactly how to get it, but there's basically a new secret cave on Lyali Grove you can go to. You can complete a puzzle there, and if you do that, you get to watch this crazy interactive cutscene. And then at the end, you're rewarded with the Golden Bird's Nest. This is a new red item that's worth around 2 mil that can only be acquired through this mission. So whether you want to sell it or just collect it, this is the only way you're going to be able to get it, and it may not be available for longer after this season. It's a first anniversary item. So if you want to get hold of this Golden Bird's Nest, go check out my guide on exactly how to do that Easter egg, because you might have quite a limited time to be able to get this. So that's everything for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, then drop a like and sub to the channel. And don't forget to check out my Midas Buy link if you want to buy some cheap Delta coins. Thanks so much for watching. My name's Ben. We are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time.